What's up, guys? Today we're playing Epic 7 and it is the crafting event. It's my very favorite event. This event is going to boost somebody on your team as long as you know how to do it. So today we're going to talk about what kind of gear you should craft, what kind of slots you should do, and what kind of stats you should be looking for. Now before I get started, I want to give a quick shout out to some guy. His name is E7Dad. I see him post on Reddit sometimes, and he has a blog. Now, I've been using this system for basically years, but this guy took the time, he wrote it down, he made a very detailed guide, so I'm going to put that in the description. Go check it out. It's easy to read, and I think that you're going to enjoy it. So let's go ahead and get started crafting some gear. Now, before we can talk about gear, we're going to look specifically at how we should roll and what you should target. So to do this, we're going to look at two characters. I have Remnant Violet up, and then we're going to have Spirit Eye Celine next. And these are people that I target specifically because I can improve them through this crafting event. So when you're crafting a normal craft, you should be crafting your left side gear. Now, the reason we do this is because the left side gear doesn't roll in a certain flat things. So let's take the sword, for example. Because we have flat attack as the main stat, you cannot roll flat attack in your substats. Also, you cannot roll a defense stat of any kind on your weapon. And this is because, well, it's a weapon, right? There's no defense weapons. Defense is not an offense. Doesn't matter what John Madden said. So, what are we looking at? We can't roll flat attack, we can't roll flat defense, and then, unfortunately, we can't roll percent defense. So you're eliminating two flat pieces here that could potentially end up in your substats, which is really great, and that will give you a better chance to roll decent gear. On your helmet, because you have a flat HP here, that we can't roll a flat HP in here, and that eliminates one of the possibilities as well. And then on your chest plate, you can't roll a flat defense on your substats. You also cannot roll attack gear in your chest. So if you're grinding gear to try and get that perfect attack percent chest, it's never gonna work. You've probably been like rolling this forever and it's never come up. You can't roll flat attack and you can't roll flat percent on your chest plate. So now the chest plate, right? This eliminates the flat HP. It also eliminates flat attack. So you have a higher chance to get what you really want, which is a percent, which is percent gear here. And that is going to give you better gear when you're crafting on your left side. So now that we've talked about crafting normal gear on our left side pieces, let's talk about the crafting event. Your right side pieces have a much broader base for stats that are possible. And so it's much harder to get the exact stat that you want. Basically, they have additions to the main stat without any subtractions from the other stats. So you can roll almost anything. On a necklace, you can roll a crit damage main stat, which is going to be much more damage on a crit based hero than attack on the main stat. When you have crit damage on the main stat, you can't roll it in the subs, but you can roll anything else. You can roll all your flats, you can roll speed, you can roll everything. So because of that, it's much harder to get our percentage-based substats and much harder to get our speed-based substats on a necklace, a ring, or a pair of boots. Same thing with the ring. Not only can you run every kind of flat stat on the main stat and in the subs, but they have an additional stat where you can get effectiveness as a main stat or effective resist as a main stat. So this means that if you wanted a HP percent main stat here or an attack percent main stat here, that now you have to go through more gear to try and get that. And then on top of that, you have to get decent subs that you can roll into. We all know that if you have a flat, it's gonna roll into it. Like, it just happens all the time. Smilegate ruins so much good gear. I've literally had gear that's like speed, crit damage, and then it'll be like flat attack. And then boom, flat attack, flat attack, flat attack. Like it's awful. You can't every roll can't go into flat attack, okay? It says you need to have a balance out in order to get your guys to where you want them to go. But the point is that it's much harder to get your main stat, and it's much harder to get your flat stats, because these rings have much more variety, because there's more in the pool to choose from every time you roll. Same thing with the boot. The boot is the only one who can get a speed main stat. Now that means you can't have a speed main stat and a speed sub, but everything else is available. All the flats are available, all the percentages, everything can go on the sub. So it's much harder to get what you want in your subs when you select a speed pair of boots. So these are going to be prime candidates for what we want when we're doing the crafting event. This is your chance. This is your chance to get the perfect piece on the perfect set. And you have a whole month to do it. Now I'm going to do this all in one day, just to show you how it goes. But you can literally roll. It doesn't work out. You do some more hunts. Next thing you know, you have more energy and you can just keep rolling right up until that deadline. So let's go into our actual crafting event. We talked a lot about other things. Let's talk about crafting. Now your crafting pieces are going to be left side gear. So in our crafting event, we have a chance to get a perfect piece of equipment, any piece that we want, any kind of set that we want, and any kind of main stat that we want. So we want to make sure that we pick something that we really need. So what should you be targeting? You should be targeting things that you don't usually craft. So things that you're not really farming. If you're not farming a bunch of Acades, then you might really want some penetration. If you're farming a bunch of your speed gear in Wyvern and it's just not rolling out, you might want to roll perfectly into speed gear. What I would recommend is that you roll things that are hard to achieve. Things that are like, I want to be blazing fast speed attacker, right? Try and get those things because they're much harder to get elsewhere. Speed, rage, going into penetration, and maybe even immunity. Everything else I would pretty much just avoid because you're going to get this stuff pretty plentifully in other places. And for me, I'm going to go ahead and pick the penetration set. Now I have 21,000 points. I got this in like a weekend because it was a buff weekend, and I just farmed, and this is how it rolled out. I don't like to start until I get to at least 15,000 because I'm gonna roll this a bunch, right? So we're not gonna do these top pieces. We're only gonna do these bottom ones. So if you pick a necklace, then we're looking at crit damage, or we're looking at attack, depending on what character you're selecting for. If you're rolling a ring, you're probably going to want an attack ring, and that's pretty much it, right? If you are really trying to build like an A Ravi, and you want to go HP ring with perfect stats, then that's something you could also go for. But keep in mind who I'm rolling for and what kind of stat they need before you make your selection. Now I'm going to go into boots, and specifically I'm going to go into speed boots because I've had really good luck making speed boots with decent stats that things like Violet can use, things like Spirit Eye Celine. There's a lot of characters that can use a penetration speed boot. I generally don't go into the other stats on my boots. What I kind of found is that they're just too slow. Unless you're building a character that is going to be on counter set and has some way to boost their combat readiness, then I really only run speed boots now. I mean, there's some characters like for hunts and stuff that I'll run something else, but it's pretty much just speed boots. So let's talk about what we're looking for in a speed boot. This is actually kind of amazing. It's not bad. I don't like to have effect resist and effectiveness on the same piece because you really don't have anyone who's going to run effectiveness and effect resist at the same time. Okay. Now let's talk about what else we're looking for. I don't want flats if I can avoid it. So I'm going to purposely just ignore these, and I'm looking for something with crit chance. So this is a better piece for me because it has crit chance, it has effectiveness, which is okay, and it's a high roll. It has health, which is okay. Now I don't want to keep this attack substat, so we're just going to keep going. Ideally, what I'm looking for is I want to have something that's going to have, because it's a penetration set, it has to have crit. Like, you just can't avoid it. Even if you go and you are going to mod it, that's not what I want to do, right? I want high rolls on my piece. And to get that, I have to go with a crit stat on there. So let's see what else we get. So this one, not bad. 5 is the max roll, and I think 7 is the max roll for crit damage. So it rolled, pretty well. And then it rolled HP defense, which you can definitely use. Now what I want, I have in mind like an A Ravi for this. I have in mind a Violet or something like that. So I want to have either a high health roll, a high attack roll, or both would be ideal. That way, no matter what it rolls into, I have somebody that can use it. So let's see what we're going to kind of get. I'm going to avoid that because I don't want the flat attack. It's not going to be better. And you might do this. You might do this for like 2 hours, and you might get to the end and be like, I got nothing. It's very possible. But you also have the possibility to do something amazing. If this were a speed set boot, look at this. Defense, health, effectiveness, great. Who could use that? So many people could use that, right? So many people. You can put it on AOL. You can get that onto a Lilius. So many people could use that set with high rolls. It's not really what I'm after. Now, one thing that happens here as well is, let's say that I want to change my piece, and I want to change it here to something different. Well, let's say I want to change this. When I select a different set, it's going to erase my main stat and my substats. I basically have to start all over. So if you roll something that's going to be amazing, like this is amazing, and let's say a speed set, you can't just switch the set. It's unfortunate. It would be really awesome if they let us do that, but they don't. Gotta draw a line somewhere. Gotta draw the line. So let's see what we're gonna get. Hope it's something good after I talk this in that up. Okay, look at this. Perfect. We have attack, we have a max roll crit, a near max roll crit damage, and then this is just whatever. Ideally, defense, HP. That's really what I want. But that's gonna be a good piece. If I had to stop right here, that would be a good piece to roll. Well, let's see. I still got 17,000 to go, and I will roll it until the end. Maybe not in this video, or maybe I'll fast forward or something so you guys don't get bored. But I will roll it till the end. Now here, we have 1 less attack, 1 less crit, effect resist, and HP. Worst set. Okay, I'd rather have effectiveness than effect resist. If this were a max roll health, maybe I would want to go into it. But if you can roll the perfect piece, man, don't stop at effect resist. That's disgusting. Don't stop there. Because you know what's going to happen? You know what's going to happen. It's going to go exactly where you don't want it. Okay, look. Hey, check it out. Wow, this is awesome. We have max roll crit damage. Those are the same. We have health, and we have attack. This is perfect. Perfect piece. I can stop right here, and I would sleep at night just fine. So I'm gonna keep going through the gear, because you just never know what would happen. It's all RNG, right? If I had stopped when I had that okay piece of gear, I never would have got this piece. So keep going. Maybe I get something that's 7-7-5-7. Maybe I get something that's defense with all max rolls. That'll be fine, right? That'll be fine. We can get a lot of good things out of this, but I'm not even considering it if there's no crit chance. So with this type of piece of gear, you need to have crit chance. Now with this is not bad. It's pretty great, right? This would also be a very acceptable piece. It doesn't have crit damage, and that's fine. If this effectiveness was attack, I would choose it, because it leaves me open so many possibilities with near max rolls that I would definitely pick it. That crit damage is not the end all be all, right? Crit, that's what we want. Then we want percentages. Those are good. After that, there's lots of combinations that you can get that are going to be great too. Now, one thing that you could run into, and this happens to me, is you get into like drone mode. Clicking, and then you pass by something that was amazing, and then you say, wait, what was that? What was that thing? It's like you're driving down the street and there's a really hot girl there, and you're like, whoa, what did I just see? I don't know, I was driving too fast. I didn't get a chance to look. Same thing. Except, it'd be better to have the gear. It'd be less headache. And you're gonna go through a ton of this stuff to try and get what you can. Now, I don't want to put you guys through a whole bunch of clicks, so what I'm gonna do here, I'm gonna keep going. But if I had to stop right now with this gear, this would be great. So I have no problem with this. All I'm doing now is I'm basically using up my points and hoping to catch lightning in a bottle. You're hoping to find a unicorn. You're hoping that, there's something amazing around the next corner, because you just don't know what is going to happen or what you're going to get. So I am going to, oh man, look at that. It's the same, except my stats are better. So I am going to keep going, and I'm going to see if I can get some really good gear. Oh, what in the world? Why is this rolling so well? Okay, so let's talk about this. So we lose 2% crit, and we lose 2% health, but we trade 8% defense for 6 crit damage. This is a set that I was sort of talking about, right? Now, when you're looking at these pieces, you have to imagine what is worth the most. Speed's worth the most, and we have that as the main stat. Speed, as we were talking about gear, how to get it, how to roll it, how to identify what's good gear. Speed is worth 2. Okay, and crit chance, this is worth 1.5. Everything else is worth 1. So let's go to our piece here. Now we're looking at these two. We're like, what's better? What is going to be better? Okay, so we have crit chance. This is 5. So we'll just say that this rolls into a 7. 7 plus 7 is 14, and then plus 12 is going to be 26. So you have a starting roll of 26. Hope I did that math right, or it's going to be embarrassing. Now we go to our next spot here, and this is a 3. So let's just say this goes to 5. Okay, 5 and 10 plus 15 is 25. So they're very similar pieces. This rolls into a 26, which is a little bit better. This rolls into a 25, which is also pretty good. But what I want more is crit chance. Crit chance is much harder to get than I care about this defense, and so we're going to keep going. When you're doing this and you can get a 5 crit chance, you know, if that was a 4 crit chance, I might have just switched it up. I might have said, you know, forget the crit damage, let's just go with it. But 5 crit chance, gotta keep. Now this one, I don't know how this is rolling so good. How? This is crazy. Okay, so 1.5, this becomes a 6. 6 and 14. 14 is 28. Okay? So this is a better piece, but we lose our attack here. Now, because we lose our attack, if you really want this piece of gear for something like a Remnant Violet, you probably really want to have that attack. Now, I can still use this on a Ravi, so I'm taking the higher score piece. And some of you are going, no, don't do it. It's too late, bro. It's too late. That's how I do. I'm going for the most bang. Why is that? Well, I'm a free player. So I have to make the most out of my resources just to stay on the same bar as somebody else who can afford just to throw things away, and they might get something better around the corner. I can't do it. I just can't. So I'm trying to get the best gear that I possibly can with the guys that I want to use it on. So if I didn't want that for a Ravi, or you know who would use this? Shu. Shu will kill on this gear. Kill. Gotta do it. Gotta do it. Now I'm gonna keep rolling, and maybe I get something that has some attack on it instead, with a HP or with a defense, and then we're gonna see how that goes. Now I'm gonna leave you guys alone right here unless something cool happens, and then I'll bring you back to see what we're gonna do. Look at that, another nice piece. Just finished rolling, and I'll tell you, 20,000 points went by so fast. I didn't get anything better, and really, you shouldn't expect to. All you should expect is to get something a little different, right? A little different. So now, why did I roll speed boots on a penetration set? You have to wonder to yourself, no matter how this rolls, can I get something that's usable out of it for the guys that I have? If this rolls all defense, great. I could use this on Arya. I could use this on Dilibet. Good piece. It rolls all crit damage. I could use this on so many different guys. It rolls all crit. Crit is the most important stat on a pair of boots. It's going to be amazing. You can get such high gear scores on a speed pair of boots if you roll 20-30% crit. I'll take that every day of the week. I don't even care what the rest of the stats are. If this rolls all health, I could use this on a Ravi. I could use this on Shu. There's so many people I can use it on. If I had attack in one of these spots and I rolled all attack, I could use that on a ton of people too, right? You have Spirit Eye Selene. I can put this on a Rylet. I can put it on so many guys. If I had, instead of crit damage here, I had attack. Or instead of defense, I had attack. Or if one of these was effectiveness, I wouldn't be as excited about effectiveness. That's one of my least stats. But if it rolls out really high, then it might be worth it to you. Because then you can roll this on someone who has a debuff here, who still wants to go fast, right? Someone like Spez. Spez has a chance to stun someone, and then he also would have a chance, he'd be pretty tanky, and he would get a higher penetration when there's no stun, which of course that's the Spez's main problem, is that he doesn't do that great when there's no stun. Sometimes, I mean, you guys have seen my Spez, sometimes he'll fail to kill someone like Mercedes without that stun, and you just can't have it. You have to kill. And if you don't kill, then it's a big problem. So let's craft these pair of boots. And I'm gonna lock it. Lock that thing. And then we're gonna see how this rolls and potential characters that I might be able to use it on. So the first thing is that, you know, on most of my characters, I don't have a ton of charms. On my boots, because I don't roll a lot of them, I do have a lot of charms. So I'm gonna try and roll these, and we're gonna keep it to each roll. Let's see. So starting out straight away, right? I had a 4 here, and that makes 6. 6 and 8 is 14, and 14 plus 14 is 28. Now I rolled 4 more. This gives me 6 more. This is 35. So this is a great piece. 5 is the highest roll, and you can see I almost got the highest roll 2 times on crit. If I could roll every one crit, and it did, then this is going to be an amazing piece. If you can get 8 or more crit chance on an attacker piece, every attacker piece, then you're going to have 85% or more crit on your attacker, which is going to be much more reliable. So I want a minimum 1 roll into crit, and then I want it to be, you know, average out to about 4 or so. Okay. Then I want to see in the other ones 6 or better on average. So I want to see, like, if this rolls into a 14 or if this rolls into a 12, then that would be just fine. Now, of course, I want the highest roll possible. See, min roll. Thanks, Smilegate. Jerks. So, I don't even remember what we're on now. Another min. Wow, you guys are jerks. What in the world? You're making me look bad, dog. Okay, so what do we have? First, we have 2 good rolls, and then 2 shitty rolls. Great. So what I want by a +9 is I want 43. Okay. Then I want something like 47 by a +12, and then I want 50 by +15. That's going to be good gear, a score of 50. So we start with 16, and 7 is 23, plus 8 is 31. Okay. Then we have 12, and this is times 1.5, so that's 18. So this makes 47. Now, it's pretty close. If I would not have rolled, I wanted to see a +12 here. So I am 3 off from a 6 average on my rolls. If I had not rolled into crit, then this might not be as great a piece, but this is still going to be really usable. If you can get, you know, a 47, as close to 50 as you can by your +15, and you take all of your gear that way, then you're going to be a really good player. Well, you might be an average player, but you'll have really good gear. That's what we're after. Let's get rid of some of this stuff. I don't need gold, so what I'm using it. So what I need is I need gear, and so I'm leveling this up. Okay, and this came out okay. So we have 16 and 15. That makes 31, 38, and 38 plus 18. That's going to be 56, right? 38, 18, 56. Yeah, that's good, right? Yeah. So, turned out nice. Turned out really nice. Who can use this? What we're going to want here is we're going to want something like a bruiser build on a defense attack or an HP attack. Or you could even put this on something like Stene, like a Spectre Tenebria. And this will be good because what you want is you can probably use a attack set, or you can use a crit set to balance out her speed and then do more damage. That's the beauty of having a speed boot. Unless I'm trying to go really fast with a speed boot, I can use speed boots with a slower, more attack build and still get really good stats on something like that. So next up, we're going to reforge our fancy new boots. and see how these stats increase. So we know that we're going to get 5 extra speed, and that's good. And now we also know that with every one of the rolls that goes into it, we're going to get increased subs. So if you have 0 rolls into your gear, like I have 0 rolls that go into crit damage, you'll get a +1. If you have 1 roll that goes into it, you get a +2 for that roll. So now your 15, instead of going into 16, goes into 18. 2 rolls adds another one to that. So now you get, this one would have gone to 17, but then you get a +3 because I had 2 rolls go into it. Okay. Same thing that's going to happen with crit on the bottom, so we get 15%. This is really good. Really good. Perfect piece for a lot of different kinds of characters.